when you study the history of school reform and you see that, one, there have been cycles and cycles of reforms over the past 150 years, and we still aren't seeing schools be the place that we want to send our children to, then that means that what we're doing is not effective in the ways that we want it to be. And I think that the reason why it's not is because we don't have a cohesive and positive vision for what we want schools to actually be doing. So REENVISIONED Ed is a national movement to redefine the purpose of schooling. And we're redefining the purpose of schooling in the context of what it means to flourish as an individual and thrive as a society. So instead of having conversations around each other about standards and accountability or charters versus districts, we're actually asking people to critically think about what kind of lives they want their children to have and what kind of society we want to build, and then how can school, as our major socializing institution, play a role in creating those good lives. I think that we often assume that we have a lot of differences with people who maybe fall on different ideological lines than we do, but when it comes down to kids that we care about, I think we share a lot in common.
I recently conducted a study that I think it was the pilot study for our REENVISIONED Ed, where I interviewed 57 people across 2 very different school communities, and I found that yes, we have similar ideas about what we want for our lives, for our children, what it means to live a good life. We have similar ideas about what we want schools to do, but schools aren't doing that for everybody. So what I learned from reading into systems theory and kind of systems change literature is that the first step is having a shared positive vision that you are working for, and the second step is creating strategies for achieving that. And there are a bunch of other ones in there, but REENVISIONED Ed really is about those first 2. This first stage of catalyzing these 10,000 conversations and collecting and sharing them is about fundamentally creating a shared vision, and not just in terms of like a researchy, oh, we're going to like analyze these and find it, but by actually asking people to take the time and space to reflect on the things that are meaningful to them. In our really rushed and time-scarce days, it's hard to find the time to reconnect with what's important, and I think one of the biggest impacts REENVISIONED Ed can have is by helping people reconnect with our deeper goals, our dreams, our aspirations, and like what we really care about, and be able to take that lens and look at our experience with schooling, whether we're a student or a parent or an educator or a principal, with that wider